everyone, welcome back, and I hope you're having a lovely day today. So I wrote a blog post recently about growth and learning to rest, and I talked about how I chose to take a writing break for this semester of college. Then Camp NaNo that I plan to still do in April, and some rewriting / editing on one of my works in progress. I intentionally decided to just not do any writing at all. Of course, if some inspiration for like a short story comes up or anything like that, I'm not gonna just not write it, but as far as pushing myself to create as much as I possibly can while I'm also busy with work and school and just life, I decided to push that aside and let my mind rest. And ever since then, and really before then too, I've just been thinking about how writers should take care of themselves. I feel like writers neglect themselves sometimes. Self-care for writers is kind of tricky because a lot of writers choose to write late into the night and things like that. It's kind of a joke sometimes about how you neglect your own needs for the sake of writing, and that's not always good. I remember hearing something that Brent Weeks said at the 2019 Reel Makers. I wasn't there, but I read about this thing he said, and it was, if you abuse yourself for the sake of your art, you're not a tragic hero, you're a fool. And that just kind of stuck with me because it's really true. You still need to take care of yourself, even while, I should say, especially since you're creating worlds. Think about that, you're creating worlds, so you need rest. So today I just wanted to share some of my thoughts on that and some ideas for how a writer can take care of themselves and really make themselves better for writing later. So first, drink water. This isn't a health video, but drinking water is so important. As writers, we want to drink all the coffee and the tea or hot chocolate, whatever it is you like to drink while you're writing. Most of us don't say water. Now, I like to have water and coffee on hand, but that's beside the point. So I just want to encourage you to still make sure you drink water. Water is what your body needs, and if you don't drink water, you drink coffee all the time, it's probably gonna hurt your body and really drain your energy rather than giving you energy. In the same vein, writers need sleep, guys. I have been there. I have tried to push myself to write and said, I'll just either sleep late in the morning or I'll force myself to get up early, it's fine. And it doesn't work that way. We need sleep. We need 8 hours or however much sleep you have figured out that you need to be able to function and function well. And I understand, and I think it's okay sometimes for things like NaNoWriMo, we don't sleep during NaNoWriMo. Like, it's just a known fact. Writers do not sleep in November. But as far as on a day-to-day basis, just a regular thing, guys, don't neglect your sleep for writing. I cannot stress this enough, because when I actually put the effort into sleeping for 8 hours and getting up at a specific time, it's just so beneficial. I feel better. Even just outside of how I feel physically, I feel better mentally knowing that I'm putting that care into myself and allowing myself to rest like I need to. Moving on to more writerly things, part of the reason that I took a writing break recently, or am taking a writing break right now, is to read more. I have not read much at all in the last 6 to 8 months. It's just, I've become a slower reader, and it's because of work and school and everything I have going on, and that's okay, but also just having that pressure of doing all this stuff, including writing, it just drained me of reading time, drained me of the energy to read. So that's something that I'm really focusing on in this break I'm taking from writing, and it's to read. And if you are wanting to write, you need to read too. Like, you need to read so much. And I'm not saying you need to read fast and you need to read 150 books a year, no. Just make sure you're filling your mind with stories, because that is what is going to make you grow as a writer. It's one of the things. And if you're not filling your mind with stories and ideas and expanding that creativity, how are you going to create your own worlds? I mean, obviously you don't want to take other authors' ideas, but you're going to glean inspiration and get creativity from those stories that you read, and it's just so important. And sometimes, depending on the person, you might need to make sure you're reading more than you're writing. Just filling that creative well, it's so important. I can't stress that enough. So make sure you're taking time to read. Now, this is something that has been really important to me lately, and it's not so much about writing as like homework and chores and things like that, But if you possibly can, take a rest day from writing every week. If you have a habit of writing every day, I believe you really need to take a day and just rest from writing. Because even if you love writing so much that you wish you could do it all the time, it's a lot of work, it's draining sometimes, and you need to rest from it. So I encourage you to choose a day of the week that you can just not write, and maybe you do some brainstorming or whatever, but creating takes a lot of energy, and sometimes you just need a whole day away from that. Again, I haven't made this habit for myself because I am not in the habit of writing every day, but I set Sundays aside as just a rest day, a day to read and spend time with my family and watch TV and just do all these things that I might not have the chance to do throughout the week because I'm busy with work and homework and all the things. So having that day to just forget about responsibilities has been so nice, and you should consider doing the same. On the subject of writing breaks, I mentioned how I am taking a writing break for the semester with a couple of exceptions, and you might find that you need to do the same thing. We don't want to think about it. No writer really wants to take a break, I don't think, because they're a writer. They want to be writing all the time. But some seasons of your life, you just have to step back. You have to accept that it's not time to be writing right now because you have other things going on. Maybe it's college, like it was for me, or maybe it's family situations. Maybe it's just that it's draining you. Whatever it is, do not be afraid to step back and take a break from your writing. It could be so beneficial. For me personally, it wasn't that I was doing so much writing that I needed a break from it. Since November, I haven't really done any writing at all except for working on a couple of short stories. But my goal was to pump out a bunch of short stories this year and try to get them published, and I was finding that short stories are kind of hard to write. I mean, you have to put a whole story pretty much into just a couple thousand words, if that many. So the thought of writing all those in between everything else was just kind of a lot of pressure, and I don't think it would have been good for me to try it. And another thing that kind of inspired me to take a break for now was, like I said, Camp NaNo coming up, and I just didn't want to drain myself for that. I know how draining nano months are and how taxing they can be on your mental and physical health, and I just didn't want to wear myself out before I even got there, because I want to go into April with a fresh mind and fresh desire to write this story or finish the story that I was writing. So if you have an event coming up like Nano, or just a project that you're waiting to start and you want to save that passion and that drive, a break might be beneficial. Now this one might sound a little bit different and might even sound kind of obvious, like why do I even feel the need to bring it up? But don't neglect your time with God. Don't neglect your Bible reading, your prayer. Don't read fiction so much that you forget to read your Bible. And here's why I say that, besides just the obvious. If you believe that God has given you this talent and this passion and desire for writing, then you need to show appreciation for that, and you need to just get to know Him better and ask Him to bless that, because I believe as you strengthen that relationship with Him, He will bless your writing and He will show you things that you need to know, and just make your stories stronger with those messages of love and truth that we are trying to infuse in our stories. Now lastly, don't be afraid to put your writing aside to do other things. For example, one of the things I'm hoping to get back into this year is drawing. I used to draw all the time, don't do it as much, I hardly ever do it now. But it's something that I really enjoy, and even if I'm not writing right now, I do hope to get some drawing done. Also, I could have chosen to put my YouTube channel aside, besides the fact that I just started it basically after starting it last year and then neglecting it. I didn't want to do that because I find it fun. I could have put blogging aside. Don't want to do that because it's fun. I like connecting with you guys, and it's okay to put writing aside and do other things. It doesn't mean that you're any less of a writer. It doesn't mean that writing isn't your passion. It doesn't mean that those things are more important to you. It just means that you can't juggle everything at once, and right now it might not be feasible to fit writing into your schedule. And I know that might sound like sacrilegious, like I'm a writer, why wouldn't writing fit into my schedule, but these other things would. And like I said, writing takes a lot out of you. You're creating worlds. It's okay to step back and recharge. It is completely okay. Do not feel bad if you have to do that, even if you're still doing other things that might not have anything to do with writing. You don't want writing to become a chore. You don't want to be so focused on it and block everything else that's fun out of your life. If you enjoy making YouTube videos and you don't have time to write, make a YouTube video. Of course, some writers have deadlines and that's another story, but for right now, if you're watching this, chances are that you don't, and you have that flexibility to fit things in your schedule, take writing out if you have to, etc. So just work with that as you will, and don't feel bad if writing has to take a back seat for a while. I think that's pretty much all of my thoughts. I always forget something, but hopefully I got everything in there that I wanted to say. So I hope this encouraged some of you to really focus on self-care as a writer, because it's so important, and I'll say it again, you can't create worlds without taking care of your own world. And by that I mean yourself. So get some sleep, drink some water, and just allow yourself to refill that creative well whenever you need to, so that you can write better stories. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe if you want to see more videos from me, and share this video with a writer who maybe could use some help with self-care. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye! Really need to take a day, my phone keeps going off, but something I really enjoy, and I was hoping to do some of that encouragement to give themselves